So now guys, we are going to understand about the git commit command. So git commit is a command used in Git to record the changes made to the files in the repository. When you run the git commit command, you are creating a snapshot of the changes you have staged during the git add. Okay, so right now we just use git add, and now we are using the git commit command to add those stages to, to add those changes from the staging area to the final repo. Okay, so it's like now you made all the changes, and this command would help you to record all the changes. It's like, suppose today you made a change, after 10 years you want to look at that change, so you can easily look it if you have made a commit for that. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna say that here, if I just make a commit, so if I type git commit, okay, commit is like I'm finalizing these changes. I've added all the files to the staging area. Now I want to push these files. I want to pass these files to my repository. Okay, that means I want to finalize these changes and I want to make a version out of it. Okay, so this version will be based on today's time and seconds. Okay, you can assume use today's time and today's date, something like that. So you have just created at that specific instance of time, you created a version of your code. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that we have, suppose I'm just gonna name it as day one, something like that. You can name it anything. Okay, so you can see that now I made it, and you can see, you see all those files also which are available here. Okay, so that's it guys. I hope you understood the part of git commit. Okay, so this actually helps you to first of all stage changes. Okay, first of all you use the git add command to stage changes. Before committing, you typically use the git add to stage the changes you want to include in the commit. Staging allows you to organize and review your changes before making them the part of your git history. Okay, now once you have made the changes, you are simply going to commit it. So once you have staged your changes, you can commit them using git commit. This creates new commit containing changes you have staged. Suppose you made a change here again. Okay, suppose you made a change, and this time you made my website is bad. Okay, so if I do this directly, okay, if I do this directly, if I directly make a commit, you can see that it's saying that bro, index.html is modified, please first of all add it. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that git add, I'm just gonna say dot, that means just take all the changes in whatever file directly made, take all the changes. Okay, so after doing that, since I was tracking index.html, that's why it showed me the error. If I didn't track the index.html using git add command, which we are doing, we are tracking all the files. So if we didn't track it, then it won't show the error, it would directly make a commit and there won't be any problem. But yeah, right now you can see that previously also we were tracking index.html. That's why next time when I type git commit, you can see you receive that error. Okay, so now I just made the change again, I've added all the changes. Now I would simply say git commit, so press upward arrow, so you'll get the previous command. So I'm gonna say d2. Okay, so you can see that, yeah, one insertion, one deletion, you can see that everything is fine. Okay, so that's how you're gonna make a commit. Okay, you're gonna make a commit, so you can just write the commit messages just like that. This flag m is basically allowing us to specify the commit message, right? So guys, that's all about the git commit command. Now guys, we are going to understand about the git status command. So git status is a command used in Git to display the current state of the repository. When you run git status, it provides information about which files have been modified, which files are staged for the next commit, and which files are untracked. So let's try to use git status. Okay, so here for example, if I type git status, you can see that nothing to commit, everything is fine. That means there is no change. Okay, suppose now if I make a change, okay, so now if I just remove it, now if I type git status, you can see that index.html is modified. Okay, and suppose now if I add a new file here, okay, if I just add a new file here, temp.txt. okay, so now if I again check, is there any change? So you can see that, yeah, right now you can see we're tracking all the files using git add command. That's why it's saying that temp.txt is here. Okay, so you have untracked files. Suppose I don't want to track this file, okay, temp.txt, what I can do, so later on in the upcoming videos we are going to learn about git ignore, so I can just untrack this file very easily. Okay, but for now, suppose if I want to remove any file from being tracked, how can I do this? So I can just type git rm and then flag cached. Okay, cached. Okay, cached. And now I'm just gonna remove this temp.txt. Let's try this. So you can see that okay, it tried to remove that. First of all, guys, I'm sorry, we need to first of all track this file. So right now, if I track this file, say git add, I suppose I'm tracking all of the files, okay, all of the files now, so all the files and directories. Now let's try to write the git status. So you can see that, yeah, modified new file. And now what I did is I just tracked all the changes. Suppose in temp.txt I'm writing some temporary code, but I don't want to add it to my git repository. Okay, so right now if I just type git status, you can see that, yeah, you can see that there are some changes. Okay, so to add these changes, I'm simply going to type git add dot, but I don't want to add it to my git repository. How can I remove it? So for that, you have the command git rm flag cache temp.txt. so you can see now I removed it. Okay, you can see that right now I have a warning here. So what I can do is I can just type flag f. Okay, and you can see that now things are done. If I go to status, you can see that there is one untracked file and rest everything is fine. Okay, so for untracked files you would see this, and this is not a problem. Okay, this is just a warning that you have some untracked files. If you want to track it, you have to just type git add and the file name. Okay, so git itself tells, but I don't want to track it, so I'll leave it as it is. And I made a change to index.html. I made a change to index.html. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to say that git commit m, but yeah, make sure you first of all type git add index.html or git add dot whatever you want. But yeah, I don't want to track it, so I removed it. Okay, I removed it. Okay, so first of all what you did is you tracked all the files, so I simply type git add dot. Okay, I simply typed git add dot. Okay, then I checked that accidentally temp.txt is also tracked, so I untracked the temp.txt. You can see temp.txt. Now only index.html and other files are tracked. This file is untracked. The changes are now staged, added to the staging area. I just want to make a commit. Okay, so I just make a commit. I would just say day 3. Okay, so you can see that now again made a commit, right? So that is the purpose of the git rm command. And we also learned how to use the git status to check the status. Okay, what are the changes, what's modified, which file is modified, which file is untracked, very easily, right? So guys, I hope you understood the part of git status and git rm for untracking. Okay, now guys, we are going to understand about the git log command. So git log command is basically the most powerful command, and it actually helps you to get all the list of previous commits. Let's try that. So here guys, if I type git log, so you can see that whatever changes I made, you can see whatever commits I made, I'll get things here. Okay, I'll get things here. So you can see if I hit enter, and you can see that I'm getting more details. Suppose if you have a lot of commits and you want to just go out of here, you can just press Q and you'll get out of here. Okay, so after that guys, what you need to do is you can simply now track all the previous commits which you have made. This was day 3 which we made just now, similarly day 2, and you can see that each commit has a few things here. You can see first of all a unique commit ID, so that you can identify the commit, and then who made the commit. Okay, what was the email of that user, right? What was the name of that user, what was the exact date and time, and right, so you can see that I can see some details here, right? That's what is all about the git log command. Now suppose guys, suppose I want to see details of some commit. You can see this was for day 1, so I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, I want to see the details of this specific one. Okay, so I'll just press Control and C. I'll just copy this, then I would type git show and I would just paste this ID. So if I hit this, you can see that I got some more details, what changes I made here, right? So you can see what are all the changes you made. You'll get all the changes here with along with the file also. Wherever you made a change, you can see that this was the change, and then you made some more changes. So you can read this, you'll understand a lot of things here. Now to exit, you can just press, then you just press Q to exit out of here. You can see that now I exited. Okay, so whenever you want to exit, in some cases where you are pressing anything and you are not able to exit, just press Q and you'll exit. Okay, very easy, right? So guys, that was the purpose of the git show command and git log command. So I hope you understood both of these two commands. You're gonna use these a lot. Guys, we are also going to understand about the git diff command. Okay, so again, if I just type git log and I want to make comparison between these two commit IDs, so I'll just copy this commit ID. I'll just press Q here. I'll just exit, and then if I type git diff, and I'll just paste this commit ID along with, I'll just paste some other commit ID. Let me just copy this one. Okay, so I've just compared two different commits. So if I hit enter, you can see whatever are the changes you can see are actually made. You can see that first I removed this file, and this is the latest thing which we have here. Okay, so these are some changes, right? So if I just press Q, I'll know that what are the changes which I made, and I can easily check using the git diff command. So it would just compare between two versions of your code. Okay, after 5 years you want to make comparison with the 5-year old version to the latest version of your code, you can easily do this using the git diff command. Okay, so it's very beneficial. You can just check out this very useful command. Now guys, after this much, I can easily explain you about the git push command. So right now we just made this temporary repository, and I also explained you in the previous videos how to connect your SSH to your local machines, your GitHub's SSH to your local machine. So I hope you are ready with that. So after that, after watching this much, now you're ready to push the source code to GitHub. How you can do this? So right now I am tracking all the changes, right? So now what I'll do is I'll just go to my GitHub account. Okay, so that's what you have to do is you'll just go to your GitHub account. Okay, I hope everyone has done this. Watch my previous videos, you will understand everything. If I click on create new and new repository, and I'm just gonna name this repository as test repo, something like that. Okay, you can just give it a proper name of your project's name. Okay, now I'm gonna make it public. You can make it private also if you want, but I want it to access by anyone. Okay, so I'm just gonna make it public, and then if I click on create repository, you can see that guys now it's here. Okay, you can see that now guys it's here. So these are all the commands which we understood right now. You can see git init, git add, git commit. And what is this branch? Branch is basically you can say that you can create different versions of your branch. If I give you example, you can right now consider that there is one version and there is another version of your code. If I make any change to version 1, version 2 won't be reflected, when version 2 won't be affected. Okay, that's what branch is. So I'm saying that your code is in the main branch, everything is in the main branch for now. Okay, we'll create a separate tutorial for branches, but right now understand everything is on the main branch. And then we have remote adds origin. So it are actually like you want to just push your code to GitHub. Similarly guys, we have Bitbucket just like GitHub. So yeah, the URL would change, rest everything is same, command is same. So for GitHub, this is the commands and this is the URL of GitHub. Instead of this, if you are using Bitbucket, similar platform like GitHub, the URL would be different. Okay, so rest everything is same. So these are all the Git commands. Okay, these are all the Git commands, not GitHub commands. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, and here I would just, and here guys I would just paste it, but before that I'm gonna create one file named as git ignore. Okay, so I'll explain what's exactly git ignore. So git ignore is basically a file where you can just specify some files or directories which you don't want to upload, okay, which you don't want to be tracked. So I'm just gonna say that we have dir which I don't want. Okay, so I'm just gonna say dir must not be tracked, and similarly we have temp.txt. Okay, suppose I don't want these two files to be tracked. Okay, so I'm just gonna say first of all git add dot, I'll just add all the changes. Now I would simply say that if you are accidentally tracking, so I'm just gonna untrack these two files. So I'm just gonna say git rm dash dash cached. Okay, then I'm simply going to say that don't track this. Okay, actually it's dir1. I'm sorry, it's actually dir1. So okay, I think now it must work. Okay, so let me just do this again. So git add dot. Okay, and right now you can see that now I've added this. Now I'm simply going to say git rm dash dash cached. Okay, and here I will just type the file name or directory name. So I'm just gonna say that I don't want to track this dir1. Okay, I don't want to track this. If I type this, okay, it's actually non-removing. Okay, actually I think I need to write it this way. Since guys it is a directory, you need to type the flag r. Okay, so I'll just type flag r, and you can see that now I have untracked both the changes here. Okay, so I can see that it's done. For directories you have to write flag r, but for files you don't need to write this. Okay, so you can see I have untracked this directory, whole directory. Now what I need to do is I would simply untrack one more thing, that is this temp.txt also. So if it's tracking already, it would untrack. Okay, so you can see that it wasn't tracked, that's what it's saying. Okay, right now you can see everything is fine. Now I would simply say, since I made a commit, so you can see I have done git init, I have added all the important files which I want to track. Then I'm going to make a commit here. Okay, I'm just gonna say that let's make a commit here. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that git commit. Okay, now once I write this, okay, once I write this, I would simply say, okay, I'm just gonna say that day 4 suppose. Okay, now if I hit this, you can see that now all the changes are here. You can see that yeah, these two files are here removed, and you can see git ignore is added. Okay, so now after this guys, what you need to do is you just need to say to the main branch, to the specific origin, I want to push the source code. Okay, So you can see that now I want to push the source code. If I refresh here, okay, so you can see that now it's done. Okay, now it's done. And you can see that apart from all the files, we only have index.html, script.json, style.css. Why? Because we have removed these two and it's inside the getting node. No, so next time if I make a change in temp.txt, okay, I made a change in temp.txt. I also made a change in file fil1.txt. So you can see actually I need to make it fl3 suppose. So you can see that I made a file, I made a change to this. Now if I just type git add dot, so it would track the changes. What changes made to other files, not in dir1 folder or in temp.txt. If I made a change in index.html, okay, is awesome. If I made a change in index.html or script.js or style.cs, since these three are only tracked, dir1 is not tracked and temp.txt is not tracked, so their changes won't matter, but these changes would matter. Index.html changes would matter. Now if I again type git add, you can see that now it's done. Now if I just say that now I've added the changes, now it just make a commit, okay, commit, okay. Now if I just make a push, so git push, okay, once I type git push, now what would happen, automatically the source code would be uploaded to github, okay. So if I just refresh, you would see that index.html would have the latest change. My website is awesome, right? And I can share the source code to anyone so that they can get this, right? And what they need to do is they can simply type git clone command in their computer to actually retrieve this source code, right? So guys, I hope you understood this part. That's what all about the git. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.